Right, so I have in this class right now Amra, Aslaf, Ishwar, Praveen, Shehan, Nilakshi, Vishalani. Right, a big number of you guys are here. I think it's good for us to start. I know it's a fasting season, so I think some of our students are having a tough time and they wanted us to start it a bit late. But practical side of it is, yes, sometimes this is a religious month for those who are fasting, and I think we need to provide them a bit of flexibility also. So we'll go through today understanding about digital marketing, a basic fundamental, and then we'll go into e-commerce more today. Right? We will try to understand what is digital marketing, how digital marketing works. So that's like a fundamental area. And gradually, we will work into e-commerce more. I'm trying to. Right. So there was a bit of a screen change I had to do. So always with a couple of devices while the class is going on. Right. I think it's good enough for us to start with today's session. Um, Before going in, it makes sense for me to give a brief outline. Right. While I'm setting it up, ladies and gentlemen, I would make a humble request for you to start off with your LinkedIn profile. It's a good practice for you to set up your LinkedIn profile. So I'll give it as an activity while I set up the PC. I don't want to waste your time. Activity one, review your LinkedIn profile. If you don't have one, create it. Uh, Check up and give feedback. Okay. You can share the link with your friends as well. You can definitely share it with your friends. It will allow us to see a bit of content, right? See. If you have set up your LinkedIn profile, share it with the class. It will be helpful. If you have so far not set up a LinkedIn profile, right? What you can do is set it up even now. It will be immensely helpful. Right. I think this is good enough to set it up. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a program for digital marketing. While you're setting up your LinkedIn profile, I think I can humbly request you all to set it up right now, because long term it will be an effective way. And you can definitely get feedback from your colleagues in this class and get the colleagues to give you add to your connections and stuff like that. Some of you would have already done this task somewhere around in your career. So I would humbly request you all to one more time review it and see, right? Sorry. So I'm putting it into WhatsApp because everyone is there in WhatsApp, isn't it? So once you all start seeing the conversations, it will make it easy for you all. Right. We are not the traditional lesson provider. We are into multiple platforms as well. In terms of my profile, I've been working with multiple organizations, both locally and internationally. Couple of stints in UK, and finally with a couple of institutions in Dubai as well as UK I'm working with. Throughout my career, I have been handling digital all the way when Facebook was very small to right now. doing digital marketing as a consultant for agencies as well as embassies as of now. We do workshops. There are some upcoming workshops that are happening. I'll check on the coordinators to share you all the upcoming workshops also. Let's try to get more people in. Right. So all these people have been past students. These are early pictures from 2000, yeah, before COVID. We are proud BNI members, pretty much connected with BNI. We work with multiple universities. We work with Lincoln, Azteca, a number of universities, right? And we do go into these platforms as of now. Recently, we have signed up with the Institute of Analytics also. So having multiple centers, having multiple platforms is pretty much useful for all of us. Um, how digital marketing has turned out to be and why we need to be aware of is the fact that currently we are having a boom in terms of e-commerce. There is multiple variations we have, right? We have e-commerce, we have social commerce, we have m-commerce, we have right now, we are in the era of live commerce. So gradually, we need to understand how to communicate with our audience, and we should be able to have a clear-cut conversation. As activity two, let me, since I have not heard your messages or content for some time, let me put another activity just to trigger you all off right now, right? Activity two, what are, please give an introduction pitch to you. Example, I am Trish, a digital marketing specialist, currently focusing on consultancy projects. Right. So that's my profile. What is your profile, ladies and gentlemen? Shehan, thanks a lot for sharing your uh, LinkedIn profile. That's a good one. It's good for you all to share. One of the reasons why I asked for a LinkedIn profile to be shared is that people can understand what type of candidates are there in the class, as well as probably one fine day when you meet on the road or you are meeting on a job situation, you will understand, okay, I used to work with this guy, or I used to study with him. So kudos to Shehan. Yeah, let's get everyone going. It's pretty much a hard time for us because I think the temperature also is pretty odd right now. No, the temperature is very high if you are in Colombo. I don't know if you all are getting rains in other part of the world, but yeah. Right. So anyone else give an introduction, guys. Let us know how things are on your end. So Nilakshi has shared her profile as well. Yeah, that's a good one. LinkedIn profiles can be shared with everyone, right? So share a short background, short profile about you that could help everyone. Right. So we are having. So I've seen Ishwa also do a proper link. So that's a good one. So giving kudos to Isha as well. So connect with each other, show connections, try to drive your traffic. My LinkedIn site is down these days. Don't let the LinkedIn go down, champ. Somehow recover it. Sometimes there is a hacking. Sometimes if you use ChatGPT, they are blocking also. So try your best to do some changes around it. Um, So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pretty much interested in getting your introduction pitch also. So, in this class, I have Azlaf, Amra, Shehan, Praveen, Vishalani, Nilakshi. Give a short introduction. Type it out, ladies and gentlemen, while you set up your LinkedIn profile. That will be a good start for us. When it comes to e-commerce, we have an understanding of the concept and application of e-commerce in today's business world. Be able to launch an e-commerce site all by yourself and have the confidence to do that. You can do e-commerce without even a website, right? If you want to, you can do it from TikTok. Currently, if you're targeting young generation, let's say you're a tuition teacher teaching English, anyone can do it in this class, right? You're listening in English, you're reading in English and doing this class in English, right? So you can go ahead and build it on TikTok itself as far as it makes sense. I have one of my students. He sells motorbikes, not that very advanced in English. He buys motorbikes and creates a bit of further, painting and fixing stuff and makes it a bit modified and sells it off. The student joined for a digital marketing class from Kurunegala. Pretty much hardcore business minded, not very academic. And he was able to adapt after this particular set of slides went in. He was nudging me for some ideas and ended up doing this. And today, for a month, he's doing around 24 motorbikes. He has close to a profit margin of close to 50,000 on each of these bikes. So this is, I'm talking about a very young university student. He joined the program in such a way. So up to you, ladies and gentlemen, see how you can play your cards and get some profit out of it. Carry a step-by-step digital execution of an e-commerce platform also. E-commerce is a commercial transaction which has happened over the internet. So pretty much you will have a number of these going on. And I would like you all to experiment with Facebook Marketplace for a category of your choice as well. So since you all are setting things up right now, activity 3, look into Facebook Marketplace. See for any opportunities. See for any opportunities. Our marketing guys have suddenly woken up and they've started sharing. Batch. see how things are going on. I think some of your mics are getting on without your awareness. I think Ashik Farises. How's your situation, ladies and gentlemen? Just share. Hamra, Azlaf, Ishwar, Praveen, Shehan. Did you check out Facebook Marketplace? What is the opportunity that you're seeing? Praveen, is there graphic design services? Nilakshi, Vishalani, are you all seeing anything that is unique for you which you can sell? Buy and sell, or you can offer certain services? Right. So you have number of promotions going in. So there we call it as cyclical trend. So we have different trend types that are existent online. There is seasonality, example, Christmas, activity times, example, lunchtime, traffic. Number three, ad, ad hoc, raincoat during season, handheld fans, power cuts. So what is the thought process you have? Do you see any opportunities for you? Can you buy and sell? You don't have to, but just giving you some thought process to think about. Aslav has started sharing certain content. Okay, phones. You can buy and sell phones. That's one of the option. Why I'm making you do this is you can come up with certain set of ideas for you to go around and see what is the most suitable idea that you can pursue, right? So when it comes to e-commerce, even TikTok, Instagram business, most of the platforms are geared for business, and they know that they need people to invest money and start working around with it. So ladies and gentlemen, try your best to see how best you can utilize them, right? And it will be pretty much useful for you. Um, yeah. When you list your products or services on FB Marketplace, you do get better placement. So even though sometimes you're not going to get products, like let's say Pravin's one, which is into um graphic design. Um, let's say his clients are not coming from this particular market, right? They're not coming from Facebook Marketplace, but from freelancing. But still, if he places it into Facebook Marketplace, he's going to get a lot more demand. And it's important for us to have the business model canvas. I don't know if you have used this particular model during, if you have done your masters or any of these platforms, you would have used it. But when it comes to certain brands, you need to understand how the business works. So it's good for you to invest a couple of minutes in this business model canvas. I'll play you a short video on what business model canvas is. And I think that will give you a bit of a stronghold in this subject, right? So listen to it if you want to. There are some Sinhala or Tamil ones also. The concept is called as business model canvas, right? You can search it in Tamil or Sinhala if you want to. Right, I'll show it to you.
The Business Model Canvas is a great visual tool for defining, describing, or developing the business model of your organization. Originally developed by Alexander Osterwalder, the concept of the Business Model Canvas is invaluable as an aid to communicating how the business operates by clearly identifying the 9 basic building blocks of the business and how they're interrelated. The first building block is customer segments, the key client groups that the organization serves. Each group should have distinct needs that require different channels and relationships to generate value. Ask who your ideal or most important customers are. Who are you creating value for? What type of relationship does each segment want? This may mean that you need to decide not to serve certain groups of customers so that you are using your resources efficiently. The way in which you create value for your customers is described as the value proposition, that aspect of your product or service that distinguishes you from the competition. How do you create value for your customers? This can include the way in which you design your offering or create a premium brand. It could be that you offer a unique experience, or that you provide something at a significantly lower price point than your competition. Value can also be created not by price, but by speed of delivery or an enhanced service. Ask yourself how you create value for your customers. Are you removing a pain or providing something that people want? The third basic building block describes how the value proposition is communicated and delivered to your customers. How do you raise awareness of your brand and your offerings? How do you help your customers to evaluate the value that you bring? What routes can your customers use to buy the products and services that you provide? How do you deliver your value proposition? And what support do you offer once a sale has been made? Each customer segment will expect a different type of experience when they engage with your business. And this is explored in the next building block, customer relationships. How does your organization interact with each of your customer segments? This can range from a personal interaction to self-service or automated experiences. Or it could include a more collaborative relationship through a sense of shared communal experience, or even working with customers to jointly create offerings. These first 4 building blocks are essentially concerned with the customer, who we serve and how we do it. The key activities block then describes those things that you need to do to be successful in delivering your value proposition. This could be producing a product that meets certain standards or quality, or in providing a service that removes a pain or problem on behalf of your customer. The third type of activity is in providing a space where other vendors and customers can exchange products or services, such as an online marketplace. Once we know what value we create for our customers, we can understand what our customers are willing to pay, how they pay, and how they would like to pay. The Revenue Streams block explores the mechanisms used to derive fees from each of the customer segments. These can include transactional sales for physical assets or the usage of a service, fees paid to make use of a service or product temporarily, such as a subscription of a streaming service or the hire of construction tools, or even license fees paid for the use of a brand. Revenues can also be based on commissions or brokerage fees and for providing promotional access to an audience. Now that we understand our customers and how we exchange value for revenues, we can consider the internal building blocks. These include the key resources that are needed to deliver the value proposition and to create revenues. These assets can include the physical facilities, equipment, or vehicles. You may have intellectual assets such as patents, copyrighted material, or know-how. Resources can also include your people and your financial position. Some resources that are needed for the business model to work are not available to you from within your business. These are obtained through partnering with other organizations and providers. Key partnerships defines who it is that we need to work with to deliver the business model. Who are your key suppliers? Are there key activities that are provided by someone else? There are 4 types of partnership: strategic alliances with non-competitors, cooperating with traditional competitors, working jointly with a third party to create a new business venture, or transactional relationships that assure a reliable source of supply. The final building block considers the costs associated with each of the other 8 elements of the business model. Consider what resources cost the most, which activities are most expensive, what is the cost structure, and how a charge is incurred in operating your business model. These could be fixed costs that do not change as your levels of business fluctuate, or they could vary in proportion to the volume of business that you are doing. You should also consider how costs can be apportioned over a range of activities as the scale of your business increases. For example, unit prices may be reduced as you buy higher volumes. And similarly, economies of scope may be enjoyed as you expand operations so that key activities support multiple channels. Together, the 9 basic building blocks provide you with an overview of how your business creates and delivers value, how the various elements interrelate, what they cost to deliver, and how much revenue they generate. It's also a great way to articulate your business model to others. However, the business model canvas is perhaps most useful when it's used to challenge each element of the existing business model to generate new ideas and concepts. It comes to life when you systematically ask, what if, for each of the elements. For example, what if we didn't need to be in the room when delivering training? Could be the spark that leads to the development of a new online learning business model. This is particularly relevant when a business is forced to re-examine its business model in response to macro-environmental conditions, removing one or more of the basic building blocks. For example, when the social distancing measures undertaken to combat COVID-19 result in your main channels to your customer being closed. By using the business model canvas to understand your traditional model, you will be able to explore new models that deliver sustainable strategic alternatives. To learn more about the business model canvas, we recommend that you read Business Model Generation by Alexander Osterwalder and Yves Pigneur, or visit the Stratagizer website. We should point out that Optima Training is in no way affiliated with Stratagizer. We just admire the work that they do.
Right. Can I, Shaping, ask you all to apply this business model canvas to a business of your choice, right? So let me give it as an activity. Can I show you one more video of business model canvas? Zara is very famous, right? May slide demo. I'll put the slide across into your groups also. If you take business model canvas, you need to understand that it has different layers, right? So if you look at Zara, it's a unique organization. It is a fast fashion, like No Limit is the Sri Lankan version of Zara. They are selling apparel, yes, right? The way they do it is very unique. They were the first one to actually come up with creating designs every month. So they are coming up with new things every month, and customer segments, they are going across the board. They are going for more budget. customers. Then no limit gattana, it's never like premium collection. You don't get the like Crocodile or Nike flagship store again. I mean, so it goes into a platform of, totally about a brand promise to stay budget, right? At the same time, if you go to Pallu or any of their stores, it will be premium segment, no? Right. So when it comes to this particular segment, ladies and gentlemen, try to identify how things work out when it comes to the segments. Customer relationship, how they maintain relationship. If you take Pizza Hut, they are sending messages, WhatsApp, not WhatsApp, SMS. So some companies, AIB and all, we tend to do a lot of WhatsApp. So how is our CRM? Channels के लिए क्या है? How we are distributing the product. Pizza Hut Gataran, they can't do like you order today, your pizza will come in like Daras in 4 days. You can't do that, no. They have to do with Uber as well as Uber Eats and having their own team. Before Uber Eats came in, Pizza Hut was the only reliable delivery food, right, along with Chinese Dragon. Value proposition, what is the value you are giving to customer? So if you are looking at our classes, it's about personal connectivity, and we are trying to teach digital marketing in a way where people can understand key activities. What type of activities do you give, like uh, activities ke like you have if you take AIB graduation at BMICH, you have workshops, you have a lifelong commitment to the student, like that. Key activities. Key resources. If you take academics like AIB, our resources are lecturers, administration, process, and systems. Even if people leave, the new person can easily adapt and make a change and run. Key partners, awarding bodies. Like we work with awarding bodies, we work with UK ones, Mexican universities, US universities. All of them have different regulations that are there. And this entire structure will lead to certain cost and revenue for us. Let's say we went total premium and we went ahead with totally into, having 8 floors of building and all that. We might incur too much of cost and infrastructure, end up screwing things up for the student capacity. So if you look into certain institutions like KDU or not KDU, KIU, Kelagatina, which is degree awarding, got into a lot of issues because of teaching quality. So each of these platforms, if you really look at it, there are certain costs that you have, and it leads to revenue as well. So ladies and gentlemen, take a segment and run through it. I'll show you one more video on business model canvas. Just see if you can apply it. I'll give it as an activity number 5, I think. Activity 5. Activity 5, apply business model canvas, right? Let's do the apply the business model canvas right now, right? So I just forwarded the message to the group as well, so you all can apply it to your given context.
So one of the interesting things about thinking about a startup is how is your company going to be organized? And what we now know is the most efficient way to think about all the pieces, just all the parts, is by a business model. And so the next question is, okay, Steve, you just told me to think about a business model, but what is a business model? What are all the pieces? Well, let's take a look. And a business model is how a company creates value for itself while delivering products or services for its customers. Now, if you think about it, in the old days, we'd think about how to organize a company around functional organizations. We think, no, a company is about its sales department or its engineering department, and you would draw an org chart. But now we're going to draw a very different diagram. We're going to draw a diagram of how to think about all the pieces of a business. And so let's take a look at these 9 boxes. 9 boxes to describe any company from the world's largest to a 2-person startup starting in your parents' garage. Let's take a look at the first piece called the value proposition. The value proposition answers the question, what are you building and for who? The value proposition says, hey, it's not about your idea or product, it's about solving a problem or a need for a customer. That is, what pain are you solving, what gain are you creating, and more importantly, who are your customers? Now, value proposition is a fancy word for what product or service are you building. This is where you normally would list all your features and here's all the speeds and feeds and benefits and whatever, but you're really going to be asking a different question than might have been used to. It's not all about your technology. Your technology is just part of the value proposition. Customers really don't care about your technology. The customers are trying to solve a problem or fulfill a need. By the way, we'll be talking about this through multiple lectures. The difference between a problem and a need is, a problem is, I have an accounting problem, or I want to use a word processor. And those types of products solve problems. But there are other things that human beings do, like I want to be entertained, or I want to have a date. Those are some basic hardwired social needs. Or I want to communicate with my friends, like Facebook or Twitter. Those are needs. Needs are different than problems. And by the way, if you could find products that solve needs, your total available market, as you'll see later, is huge compared to I solve specific problems. So the next thing is, who are my customers? Who are they and why would they buy? And as you'll hear a number of times, your customers do not exist to buy, you exist for them. And what you're going to do by getting out of the building is figuring out all their geographic, social characteristics, demographics, such that you actually could draw and put up a picture on your wall of who the archetype is or who the persona is of your customer. And it turns out that in most startups, you might have more than 1 or 2 or 3 types of customer archetypes and personas, but you need to understand them in detail. And there is no possible way you could have anything but a hypothesis on day 1 of who they are. The next is channels. How does your product over here get to your customers over here? And we use distribution channels to do that. Now, what's really interesting is pre-1990s, the only channels to get to a customer was a physical channel. That is, you went to a store, you had salespeople, there was physical distribution. But since the mid-1990s, in the last couple of decades, we now have virtual channels, the web, mobile, cloud. And so distribution channels, the first question you want to ask is, how will I be selling and how will I be distributing my products? Are they through physical channels, or are they web mobile? Or given today, almost every physical channel also has a web presence. What is the relationship of how your product gets from your company to the customers? Customer relationships is kind of the fourth piece. And customer relationships has a really interesting interaction with these other 3 pieces. It basically says, how do I get customers, how do I keep them, and how do I grow them? And just like thinking about distribution channels, these are very different for web mobile than they are for physical channels. But visually, they kind of look like this double-sided funnel. So let's just take a look at quickly a web example. In getting customers, you're going to be worrying about how do I acquire them? That is, how do I get them even to my website? How do I activate them? That is, how do I make them do something? And then later on, we'll see after I got them, how do I keep them around? That is, how do I not lose them through attrition and churn? And then what can I do once I have customers to make them spend more money or use my product even more? And so one of the things we'll be thinking about is how do I get, keep, and grow customers? And just like every other step, you might have hypotheses on day one, but you're only going to figure this out when you're out of the building. The next thing is revenue streams. How do you actually make money from your product and service being sold to customer segments? Revenue streams basically ask the question, what value is the customer paying for? And it actually has you think about what's the strategy of how I'm going to capture that value. Is it I'm going to just have a direct sale and it's a transaction based on price? Is it a freemium model where I'm going to give away the product for free and hope that some portion convert later? Is it a license or subscription model? That revenue model is different than the pricing tactics. That is, what is the dollar or pound amount or euro amount that I'm going to be charging? Again, the only way to figure this out is being able to interact with tens or hundreds or thousands of customers till you finally understand what the right revenue stream and revenue model is. The next piece you want to think about is what are the key resources? What do you need to make the business model work? What assets are important? And what's an example of an asset in a key resource? Well, finance. Do you need capital? Do you need a line of credit? Some assets and resources are physical. Do you need physical plant, like a manufacturing line? Do you need specialized machines? Do you need vans and for delivery? Do you need cars? Is there something else you need? Is there intellectual property you need? Is there patents you need to acquire or protect? Do you need to acquire customer lists? Or is it just that you need to get great people, great software programmers in a specific area, or great hardware designers, or great manufacturing people? And then finally, again, the interaction between intellectual and human capital that's another key resource. What specifically do you need to do to keep these people, and who are they? The next piece is, who are your key partners and suppliers? And partnerships are kind of interesting, is we need to ask ourselves, before what's the deal, is what exactly are we acquiring from partners? And also, what activities are they going to perform and when? And this is where startups sometimes make a mistake of thinking, well, large companies do partnerships, I guess I need those too on day one. Turns out the types of partnerships you need in year one are certainly not the ones you're going to need in year 3 or 5 or 10. And the types of partnerships could be strategic alliances, joint ventures, just regular suppliers and buyers. And so you need to be thinking through who they are and actually getting out of the building and testing them. Next are key activities. What's the most important things you need to do for the business to make the business model work? Are you in the production business? Are you making something? Or are you in the problem-solving business, like you're doing consulting or engineering? Or are you managing supply chains? What are the key activities you need to become expert at? And then finally, all this adds up on the left-hand side, over here, to costs. What are the costs and expenses to operate the business model? One of the interesting things about cost is it's not just the obvious ones, like people or buildings or materials. What you're really going to be asking are, what are the entire costs to operate our business model? And so you want to think about what are the most important costs you need to worry about? What are the most expensive resources you're going to need to pay for? And what key activities are the most expensive? And then you want to ask the typical accounting things. What are fixed costs? What are variable costs? Are there economies of scale? And you want to start getting a good handle on what it is that will end up costing you money to run your business.
The concept of business model canvas is available already on internet. If you search for business model canvas of Netflix, like you can find it. But if you can create one right now, it will be useful, right? So can you create one right now and share it with the class? Share screenshot or note with the class. And I think that will be helpful. Am I getting some answers from someone, some soul in here? Yeah, perfect. Thanks a lot, Shehan, for sharing the business model canvas. You all are free to use AI. You can use Quen AI or you can use Perplexity. It's totally up to you, right? So pick and choose your platforms. There is commerce that you can do online. You are a brand also. If you want, you can become an influencer. You can push a particular concept, drive a particular concept. So some of you are businessmen in this class. So you are listening to recordings and coming back with questions. I appreciate that. So let me know what type of a particular industry like solar. You know a brand like you have invested that money, so what's stopping you from becoming an influencer? You can do that, right? So go ahead, build your own platform. I always talk about this EPFS community, which was started as a furniture selling community, but today it stands out as something totally different, where they're charging for advertising also. So even a Facebook group can give you money. You have a particular room, you can sell it for rent on Airbnb. Too many foreigners are coming into Sri Lanka. Why not you give, right? So find a gap in the market and market in the gap. So try your best to find a particular niche, and this will help you, right? So there is HNB Appigo, a bit of a Shopify app which could further help you. Digital marketing can be helpful for you. Create a story of your success, story of your loss, story of your experience, story of your observations, anything like that. If you're running a business, talk about them, right? Um, what makes people choose e-commerce? Because they are frustrated employees, they are hardcore content creators. Some of you are coach or consultants, yeah? Go ahead, create it. You can be just after O levels, A levels, or you can be just a fresh graduate. It's up to you. This platform called AIB has created a number of marketing directors. I was really happy to see one of our students was a undergraduate unemployed when he came into this course. This is in 2015. 20 yesterday I saw the post where normally he puts my name as a referee. So every job he changes, normally they are calling for a reference check from me. I was happy to see he has become a John Keel's. He was 2 years back. He was a John Keel's head of corporate communications. So just after his 2015, this particular diploma course, he went into a digital marketing internship or a digital marketing executive in an agency. And 10 years down the line, he's head of corporate communications. And then I saw yesterday the posting has changed it where he has gone into Middle East as a head of corporate comms. So a lot of good things have happened to our students. Um, I'm sure one of you all will have the same story, which I will relate probably in another 3-4 years. So build on your funnel. So we call this as a funnel. You have Facebook ads. Ads come to WhatsApp or a landing page and they will lead to purchase. So same thing happened to you all when you contacted AIB. You would have seen an advertisement, you would have clicked on it or you would have WhatsApped us. From there, you would have led to a landing page and you would have had a discussion with your coordinators who are there. So always it's about creativity. So that's where people like Praveen come into the game and they will come up with something really nice for you to work around with, right? So there is a lot of things that you can work out, and Gary Vee talks a lot about hashtags and putting hashtags up, right? So in today's session, I did go through a bit into business model canvas. I would have loved to see everyone to share the business model canvas, right? Uh, Today's e-commerce session was very theoretical. We will go into Wix and try as homework, right? I'll give you a short homework for you, ladies and gentlemen. Homework, homework. Try to build a website on Wix and share a dummy, right? Share it with us, ladies and gentlemen, so we also get a pulse of which direction you're going into. Okay. I think with that I can end the session, right? So we'll call it a day today. Okay. Any questions as of now? If something is bothering you, you can WhatsApp me. I'll definitely back you up and try to help you out with your questions, right? So with that, let me wish you a very good week ahead. I would like to thank Shehan for participating very well today. And I also saw Ishwar, Azlaf was also sharing what he was doing. So that's a good thing. Nilakshi, good that you shared the LinkedIn, but I saw that you went missing with the other content which you need to submit, right? So business model canvas and all, don't let go, you do it. So with that, let me end the session, ladies and gentlemen. Have a very good week ahead for those who are fasting. Wishing you all a pleasant fasting journey. I think it's ending with 31st, no? So give your best at it, ladies and gentlemen. With that, let me end the class, guys.